Hey, what's up everybody? So for this video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of recording a whole review for you and, you know, doing all that extra editing stuff, this one we're going to go a bit more basic because I already reviewed this movie way back when it actually first came out. The day it came out I reviewed it. And I was one of the only people to have the take on it that I have. I have rewatched it since then, and I do pretty much stand by my opinion, as well as pretty much stand by everything I said in that review, with the exception of my obvious little stutters and screw ups. And this is a 14 plus because the original recording is from Cynical Sane 77, and there I did not hold back on the cursing. So that's why 14 plus is on the thumbnail of this video, and that's also why I'm just doing it in this way instead of recording a whole new review, which I will do either tomorrow or the day after that whenever I finally get to see the sequel. And since, again, the sequel is coming out, I thought this was the perfect time for me to transfer this review from that channel to this channel. Because it is still animation related, just not in a way that you usually expect. So, if this is a movie that you know pisses you off, don't watch my review because it's going to trigger you. But if you're a bit more open to different opinions, well, here's my original record review from February of 2022 of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. It's spoiler free, it's almost 20 minutes long, and I apologize for any of my mispronunciations or many screw ups. I was still very, very early in my days back then, so I only hope you can forgive me. It was only my second year on YouTube, so I was still learning how to do certain things. So, yep. With all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Also, feel free to check out my X-Men 97 review. I put a lot of work into that one, and I would love to see what you guys think of it, and if you would love to see me do more videos in that format. So, okay, I'm done rambling, and I've done enough of a preamble. Here is my original review of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Enjoy. Oh, you guys are gonna be mad. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Cynical Sane 77. Hi, I'm your random guy, Jack Small, loves to bitch about movies and music. And today we have probably one of the most controversial things ever created by humans. Winnie the Pooh, for those of you that don't know, went public domain last year. And when he went into public domain, a small team of guys decided, well, let's make a horror movie out of it. So we got some pictures, we saw a trailer, and the internet absolutely flipped their shit. Like, you're destroying our childhood. This should never have happened. You have problems. Ugh. Guys, first of all, chill the fuck out. It is not meant to be taken seriously. The filmmakers and everyone in this movie are in on the joke. Like, Winnie the Pooh was a slasher villain? No way that should work. And I will admit, going into it, I was expecting it to be a piece of shit, but at least really fun to watch. Because from the trailer, ooh, there was going to be some blood and gore. And you know me, I'm a gore hound. You have that shit, I'm at least watching your movie once. And I just finished watching Blood and Honey, and I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people with you guys with this review. But fuck it, it is my opinion, and I have made controversial opinions in the past. I fucking love this movie. Now, granted, you need to know what movie you're going into going in. This is a not to be taken seriously B-movie slasher that tries to take a established mythos of an established IP and make something new out of it. You know, like, instead of Pooh being that happy-go-lucky bear that you all know and love, instead here, he starts out like that. But then, as time goes on and Christopher Robin leaves him to go to college to become a doctor, as said in the opening narration, they become feral. And it all starts when, out of pure starvation, they eat and murder Eeyore. And then, supposedly, all the other 100 Acre Wood residents follow, with only 2 left standing, Pooh and Piglet. And after all these years, Christopher Robin returns to the 100 Acre Wood with his fiancée, and he wants to greet his friends and, have a good time and whatever, but he has no idea what happened, and the deeper and deeper he goes into this 100 Acre Wood, it's not the same one he knew. It is far more grisly, far more dark, and has pretty much all the color and fun sucked right out of it. And Pooh and Eeyore, well, they don't kill him right away. That's the one spoiler I'll give. They don't kill him right away. They capture him and hold him for torture as payback for making them having to fend for themselves. While this is happening, a group of girls are going to this cabin nearby. And it turns out that cabin is right in 100 Acre Wood, or as I'm going to start calling it now, Murder Hollow. And blood, guts, and gore ensue. I had a great time watching this movie. I'm going to get my negatives out of the way first. The acting is absolute shit. The acting here is bad, except for Christopher Robin. He's the one good one. But everyone else in the movie is terrible. They are terrible. They're not terrible people. I'm sure, they knew what movie they wanted to make, and they didn't want to take it too seriously, so I feel like the acting is made shit on purpose. So, yeah, there's that. There is a bit of a lack of variety with locations, because most of it takes place in Murder Hollow, at the place that the girls are staying, but later on it expands into the woods around it and the little underground lair that Pooh and Piglet had made for themselves. And the script here is bad too. The acting and script here is terrible. That part I will not deny, and if it's completely turns you off, I understand, and I'm not going to hold it against you. And yes, I do think that they could have done a little better than making it so obvious that, it's masks for Pooh and Piglet. Now, granted, they try to explain it by pretty much almost rebooting the whole mythos with the fact that everyone was a half-breed of a certain animal. For example, Pooh is half man and half bear, which is why he's so human-like in this horror film. Why he has arms, why he has a chest, why he's as tall as a man. They try to explain it. So I'll give them some brownie points for that, but yeah, the script is pretty bad here, and there is some moments that are going to be a bit cringy, and yes, you are going to have a few stereotypical jump scares here and there, but it's nothing like that one YouTube video that was made way before this movie even came out, when it was just, pretty much Pooh Bear ripping off Five Nights at Freddy's. And unlike most people who were bitching and bitching and bitching about this movie even being made in the first place, I, for one, was open to the idea. because it's something new that has never been done before with this series. Now, granted, I can see why some people are mad, because some people just hate horror movies or think that their childhood icons are just never going to grow and evolve. Or in this case, devolve, but you get my point. But here's the thing, guys. You're not supposed to take this movie seriously. That's the fun of it. You're not supposed to take it seriously. You're supposed to just lay back, watch it, have some friends over, have a few drinks, and have some laughs. And there is a bit of a pace break in the middle of the movie where it does slow down and almost outright stagnates. Like, there's one scene, you know that hot tub scene that was teased in the trailers? Well, that scene starts with a almost 2 whole minute segment of that girl in that hot tub just taking selfies of herself. Like, there's some obvious filler and obvious things that show that, yeah, this is super low budget. However, just like Terrifier 2, I feel like it uses that low budget to its advantage. Because this movie's strengths are in its visual effects and its atmosphere. That's where this movie shines. The visual effects here, a lot of CG blood, yes. But there is so much visceral blood and death, and the gore here is so fucking good. Like, not only the one that was teased in the trailer, you know, the girl taking a sledgehammer to the face, but there is also head crushing, head slamming, throat slits, decapitations. Like, if you want blood and gore, you are going to be satisfied on that account with this movie. This movie is for the gore hounds. Now, granted, you're not going to see, like, body parts flying everywhere like it is in Terrifier, but it's still pretty visceral. It's still fucking gruesome as hell. And gorehounds, you are going to fucking love every second of it. And then for the atmosphere here is exactly how it should be. Dark, creepy, and ominous. With the constant fog that goes through these woods, both in the daytime and the nighttime. Making you wonder, where is Pooh and Piglet hiding? And the score really helps here. The music here is so good. Like, it perfectly fits every scene of this movie. Now, granted, it only really plays during the scary parts, but my point still stands. It is a damn good soundtrack, and it really works to build on this movie's atmosphere. And like I said, I know it's going to piss a lot of people off to say, but fuck it, it is my opinion. And I'm not forcing you to watch it, I'm just saying my thoughts on it. And outside of the middle dragging, the only other problem I had with this movie is that it was sometimes way too fucking dark to see anything. Like, there's a few scenes I can think of in this movie where it was so dark that I could not see anything. Like, nothing. And 1 or 2 kills are hit and miss because they're off screen, but it still works. It's still effective. Like, this movie isn't meant to be taken seriously, but it will, at some points, it will get you off guard, and it will scare the shit out of you. But the biggest reasons to go to watch this movie are its atmosphere, and its kills, and its vicious, gory, bloody death. And the stakes also perfectly escalate here, too. And then the one other thing I want to talk about, and this is the only other spoiler I'm giving, the rest of it, I'm keeping ambiguous for any of you that do want to watch this. Which I do recommend doing if you don't mind blood and guts and you're not, overly offended by an IP going this route. The beginning of this movie is set up with a hand-drawn, black and white, animated sequence that looks like scribble drawings. And I love this because it perfectly sets up the mood and the atmosphere, because it starts out, happy and cheery like you would expect from Winnie the Pooh. But as soon as Christopher Robin leaves, it gets dark. It gets really fucking dark. And the narrator voicing over these animations works perfectly. Not to mention, they're able to find a way to dodge around getting sued by Disney by not using the specific Pooh design from what you know and love. No, the Pooh design here is entirely different and new. And I personally really like it. One other thing I really do enjoy about this movie is Pooh himself. Not only is he a pretty fucking awesome slasher villain, but I do like some of the moments where they try to make him a bit more sympathetic. Like they show that deep down, underneath all that feral rage and bloodlust, he's still the same Pooh Bear. Now, granted, I wish they used it more in this movie outside of 2 scenes, but it still works, and it works for what it's trying to do. I'll put it that way. But yeah, like I said, atmosphere and gore are the biggest reasons to watch this, because it's so well done. It pretty much saves the whole film. And as for Christopher Robin himself, I think they did a pretty decent job with what they were given. Well, with what they were trying to do. Him being, absolutely in shock, going back and seeing these friends that he knew and loved as a kid now turn to these vicious, evil psychopaths. Like, this movie does not fuck around. It is relentlessly dark, and it is relentlessly bloody and gory. Like, there is very few moments in this movie where the pace breaks, or when they take a break from all the gore and blood and death. Like, it is a dark movie. It is a very, very dark movie. But it's supposed to be. That's the fun of it. It's pretty much like a what-if scenario in Marvel. Like, we know it's not canon, but we can't help but be intrigued by how things play out and how different events may unfold in a different reality. That's the way I see this movie. And a lot like Terrifier 2, I think it really works well despite the super low budget that it has. Does it have problems? Absolutely. But out of all the dead average shit, like after all the dead average to god-awful shit I've had to sit through this month for movie reviews, this was a breath of fucking fresh air. Like, it was so much better than I was expecting, and I had a fucking blast with it. And if you're into B movies, you're gonna have a blast with this one. It is atmospheric, it is dark, it is grisly, it is gory, and it is a lot of fucking fun to watch. So, for non-horror fans, this is probably gonna fall around a 4 for you, maybe a 3 out of 10. But if you are a horror fan, specifically if you're a gore hound, this is an 8 out of 10. I fucking love the shit out of this movie. And I'm probably gonna buy the DVD and watch it again. Because it's one of those perfect B movies that just gets you in the right mood. Like, whenever you're in the mood for a cheesy, no-holds-barred B-movie slasher that is unrelenting in its blood and gore, as well as has tons of amazing atmosphere and a great score to it. Not to mention the creativity on display. Because this is more creative than you think it is. So yeah, if you love horror movies, if you love those cheesy B-movie slashers from the 80s, you're gonna fucking love the shit out of this movie. If you're in that crowd, highly recommend it. Everyone else, stay away. It's not for you. Very clearly not for you. And if you're one of the Karens online that bitched and complained about it, well, don't watch it. Plain and simple. Let people enjoy what they enjoy, and if you don't want to watch it, no one's going to force you. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, that concludes my controversial review of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. If you are a horror fan, absolutely check this out. And if you're not, then stay away, because this movie is very clearly not for you. It's for horror fans and gorehounds only. Well, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already.